Imagine finishing dinner, going to sleep, and believing your stomach simply shuts down until breakfast. It feels like a reasonable assumption. After all, if you're not eating, what would your stomach have to do? But the reality is far more fascinating. While you sleep, your stomach is anything but inactive. It enters a carefully coordinated maintenance phase, working alongside the rest of your digestive system to prepare your body for the next day. Understanding this hidden activity changes the way we think about the very first thing we consume every morning. Throughout the night, your body is technically in a fasting state. Hours pass without food entering your digestive tract, yet millions of cells continue carrying out essential tasks. The lining of your stomach constantly renews itself because it must withstand one of the harshest environments in the human body. The stomach contains hydrochloric acid powerful enough to help break down food and destroy many harmful microbes. Without continuous repair, that same acid could damage the stomach's own tissues. Fortunately, nature has designed an impressive defense system. Specialized cells produce a thick layer of mucus mixed with bicarbonate, creating a protective shield between the stomach acid and the stomach wall. Even while you sleep, this barrier is maintained and repaired. Old cells are replaced with new ones, microscopic damage is fixed, and the stomach prepares itself for another day of digesting meals. At the same time, stomach acid doesn't completely disappear overnight. Its production naturally fluctuates according to your body's internal clock, hormones, and signals from the brain. Even without food present, the stomach remains chemically active. This is one reason some people wake up feeling hungry, while others may notice mild stomach discomfort or acid reflux. Every person's digestive rhythm is slightly different, but the system is continuously adjusting itself. Your stomach is only one member of a much larger digestive network. During sleep, the intestines continue gentle waves of movement known as the migrating motor complex. Sometimes called the body's internal housekeeping system, these rhythmic contractions help sweep leftover food particles, bacteria, and debris through the digestive tract between meals. Rather than digesting new food, your digestive system spends the night cleaning itself and preparing for the next eating cycle. Meanwhile, trillions of microorganisms living inside your intestines remain remarkably active. Collectively known as the gut microbiome, these bacteria continue breaking down leftover nutrients, producing beneficial compounds, interacting with the immune system, and communicating with organs throughout the body. Although most of this activity happens in the intestines rather than the stomach itself, the entire digestive system functions as an interconnected ecosystem. What happens in one area influences the others. Another important change occurs while you sleep. Your body gradually loses water. Every breath carries tiny amounts of moisture into the air, and your skin continuously releases water through perspiration, even if you don't notice it. By the time you wake up, you've typically gone several hours without drinking anything. This mild overnight dehydration can make saliva thicker, digestive secretions more concentrated, and the body ready to restore its fluid balance. So when morning arrives, your stomach is not waking from a night of rest. It is emerging from hours of careful maintenance, chemical regulation, tissue repair, microbial activity, and fasting. The digestive system has been preparing itself long before you opened your eyes. That means the very first thing you choose to put into your stomach doesn't enter an empty, inactive space. It enters a living system that has been quietly working all night, waiting for the signal that a new day and a new cycle of digestion is about to begin. The moment something enters your stomach in the morning, a remarkable chain reaction begins. It may seem like a simple sip of water, a cup of coffee, or the first bite of breakfast, but to your body it's much more than food or drink. It's information. Your digestive system interprets that first intake as a signal, helping determine how digestion, metabolism, and hormone activity will unfold over the next several hours. In many ways, breakfast isn't just about satisfying hunger, it's about telling your body what kind of day to prepare for. One of the first systems to respond is your digestive tract. As soon as food, or even in some cases the sight and smell of food, is detected, the brain and digestive organs begin communicating through what's known as the gut-brain axis. This two-way communication stimulates the release of digestive juices, prepares enzymes for breaking down nutrients, and coordinates muscle contractions that move food smoothly through the stomach and intestines. It's an incredibly synchronized process, with each organ responding at precisely the right time. The type of nutrients you consume first also influences how quickly your stomach empties. Liquids generally leave the stomach faster than solid foods, while meals rich in protein, healthy fats, or fiber tend to slow stomach emptying. This isn't a flaw, it's an advantage. A slower release of food into the small intestine provides a steadier supply of nutrients, helping maintain more stable energy levels and reducing the likelihood of sharp spikes and crashes in blood sugar. Blood sugar regulation is another major reason the first morning meal matters. After fasting overnight, your body is ready to replenish its energy stores. If the first thing you consume is packed with rapidly absorbed sugars and refined carbohydrates, blood glucose may rise quickly. In response, the pancreas releases insulin to move that glucose into cells. While this response is entirely normal, repeated patterns of large blood sugar swings may leave some people feeling hungry again sooner or experiencing mid-morning energy crashes. By contrast, a meal containing protein, fiber, and minimally processed carbohydrates tends to produce a more gradual rise in blood sugar, supporting longer-lasting energy. Morning food choices also affect hormones involved in hunger and fullness. Signals such as ghrelin, often called the hunger hormone, naturally increase before meals and decline after eating. Other hormones released from the digestive tract help communicate satiety to the brain, reducing the desire to keep eating. The composition of the first meal can influence how long these signals last, helping shape appetite not just at breakfast, but throughout the rest of the day. Hydration plays an equally important role. After several hours without fluids, the body benefits from replacing the water lost overnight through breathing and normal body processes. Adequate hydration supports saliva production, helps digestive secretions function efficiently, and contributes to the smooth movement of food through the digestive system. While water alone doesn't activate digestion in a magical way, restoring fluid balance creates favorable conditions for the digestive organs to perform their normal functions. Even mental performance can be influenced by what happens in the stomach first thing in the morning. The brain depends on a steady supply of nutrients and glucose to function effectively. Large fluctuations in blood sugar may affect concentration or energy in some individuals, whereas balanced nutrition is associated with more sustained cognitive performance. At the same time, the gut and brain remain in constant communication through nerves, hormones, and chemical messengers, illustrating just how closely digestion and overall well-being are connected. This doesn't mean there is a single perfect breakfast for everyone. Age, activity level, medical conditions, cultural preferences, and personal tolerance all influence what works best, but the principle remains remarkably consistent. The first thing your stomach receives each morning is not simply filling an empty space, it is delivering the opening message in a complex biological conversation, one that influences digestion, metabolism, hydration, appetite, and energy long after the first meal has ended. Morning routines are often built around convenience rather than biology. Many people wake up already rushing, reaching for whatever is quickest: a strong cup of coffee, a sugary pastry, an energy drink, or sometimes nothing at all. These habits have become so common that they feel normal. But just because they're common doesn't necessarily mean they're the best way to begin the day. The first thing your stomach receives after an overnight fast can influence how comfortable your digestive system feels and how steadily your body functions over the following hours. One of the most common morning habits is drinking coffee immediately after waking. Coffee contains compounds that can stimulate the production of stomach acid and encourage movement within the digestive tract. For many healthy adults, this isn't harmful and may simply become part of a comfortable routine. However, some people notice heartburn, acid reflux, stomach discomfort, or a sense of irritation when drinking coffee on an empty stomach. People with conditions such as gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD, may be especially sensitive. This doesn't mean coffee is universally bad or that everyone must avoid it before breakfast. Instead, it highlights an important principle. Individual digestive systems respond differently, and paying attention to your own body's signals matters. Another widespread habit is starting the day with foods that are high in added sugars and refined carbohydrates. Sweet breakfast cereals, frosted pastries, sugary drinks, and many packaged breakfast snacks are digested quickly, allowing glucose to enter the bloodstream rapidly. This often leads to a quick rise in blood sugar followed by a larger release of insulin. While the body is designed to manage these changes, meals that digest very rapidly may leave some people feeling hungry again sooner, encouraging unnecessary snacking before lunchtime. In contrast, breakfasts that include protein, fiber, and minimally processed foods generally digest more gradually, helping many people maintain steadier energy and appetite. Skipping breakfast altogether is another habit surrounded by confusion. Some people intentionally delay eating as part of intermittent fasting, while others simply don't have time or don't feel hungry after waking. Research suggests that intermittent fasting can be appropriate and beneficial for certain individuals when practiced thoughtfully. At the same time, it isn't the ideal choice for everyone. Children, pregnant women, individuals with certain medical conditions, and some people taking medications may require a different eating pattern. The important point is that skipping breakfast isn't automatically healthy or unhealthy. Its effects depend on the person's overall diet, health status, and daily routine. Energy drinks are another increasingly popular morning choice, especially among people trying to fight fatigue. These beverages often combine large amounts of caffeine with significant quantities of sugar or artificial sweeteners. While they may provide a temporary feeling of alertness, they don't replace proper hydration or balanced nutrition. Excessive caffeine may contribute to jitteriness, increased heart rate, or digestive discomfort in sensitive individuals, particularly when consumed after an overnight fast. Even seemingly harmless habits can sometimes work against digestion. Eating extremely quickly, barely chewing food, or consuming breakfast while distracted by phones, television, or work may interfere with the body's natural hunger and fullness signals. Digestion begins long before food reaches the stomach. The sight, smell, and careful chewing of food help prepare digestive enzymes and coordinate the movement of the digestive tract. Rushing through meals may reduce the opportunity for these normal digestive processes to function smoothly. Perhaps the biggest misconception is the search for one universal rule that applies to everyone. Human digestion is remarkably adaptable. Genetics, age, physical activity, sleep quality, medications, stress, and existing digestive conditions all influence how a person responds to different morning habits. What leaves one individual feeling energized may leave another feeling uncomfortable. Rather than following trends or relying on blanket advice, the goal is to understand how the digestive system works and make choices that support its natural functions. When you recognize that your stomach has already spent the entire night maintaining itself, repairing its lining, and preparing for the day ahead, it becomes easier to see why thoughtful morning habits often provide a better foundation than simply grabbing the fastest option available. If the first thing your stomach receives each morning sends a biological signal to the rest of your body, an obvious question follows: what should that signal be? The answer is less about finding a single superfood and more about giving your digestive system what it is naturally prepared to handle after an overnight fast. Scientific research consistently points toward a simple principle: support hydration first, then provide nutrients that are digested steadily and nourish the body without overwhelming it. For most healthy people, plain water is an excellent way to begin the morning. After several hours without drinking, the body has lost fluids through breathing, perspiration, and normal metabolic processes. Replacing those fluids helps restore hydration, supports saliva production, and provides the digestive system with the water it needs to move food efficiently through the gastrointestinal tract. While some internet claims suggest that drinking water immediately flushes toxins or dramatically boosts metabolism, the evidence doesn't support those exaggerated promises. Water's real benefit is far more fundamental. It helps maintain the normal conditions that every organ in the body depends upon. Some people choose to add minerals or electrolytes to their morning water, particularly after heavy exercise, excessive sweating, or hot weather. In those situations, replacing both fluids and electrolytes may be helpful. For the average healthy person, however, plain water is usually sufficient because a balanced diet provides the necessary minerals throughout the day. The key isn't creating a complicated morning drink, but simply correcting the mild dehydration that naturally develops overnight. Once hydration is addressed, the next priority is providing nutrients that encourage stable digestion and sustained energy. Protein is one of the most valuable components of a balanced breakfast. Foods such as eggs, plain yogurt, cottage cheese, tofu, legumes, or other protein-rich options digest more slowly than refined carbohydrates and help promote feelings of fullness. Protein also supplies amino acids that the body uses to repair tissues, produce enzymes, manufacture hormones, and maintain muscle throughout life. Dietary fiber is another important part of a stomach-friendly morning meal. Fruits, vegetables, oats, whole grains, seeds, and legumes provide different types of fiber that support healthy digestion. Soluble fiber absorbs water and forms a gel-like substance that slows digestion, while insoluble fiber adds bulk to stool and supports regular bowel movements. Fiber also serves as food for beneficial bacteria living in the large intestine. As these microbes ferment certain fibers, they produce short-chain fatty acids that help nourish cells lining the colon and contribute to overall gut health. Fermented foods may also have a place in some people's morning routine. Foods such as yogurt containing live cultures, kefir, or other fermented products introduce beneficial microorganisms or support the existing microbial community in the gut. While fermented foods are not essential for everyone, they can be part of a healthy dietary pattern. It's important to remember that no single food can permanently reshape the gut microbiome overnight. Rather, consistent eating habits over weeks and months have a much greater influence on the diversity and stability of intestinal bacteria. Healthy fats also deserve attention. Foods like nuts, seeds, avocados, or small amounts of nut butters provide fats that slow stomach emptying and contribute to longer-lasting satiety. These fats also assist in the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins such as vitamins A, D, E, and K. Combined with protein and fiber, they create meals that release energy more gradually than highly processed breakfasts dominated by added sugars. Perhaps the most important lesson is that the healthiest morning choice is rarely the most extreme one. Your stomach doesn't require expensive detox drinks, miracle supplements, or complicated cleansing rituals. It doesn't need foods advertised as magical cures or beverages claiming to transform your metabolism in minutes. What it benefits from is remarkably ordinary: hydration, balanced nutrition, and meals built from minimally processed foods that provide protein, fiber, healthy fats, vitamins, and minerals. After spending the entire night repairing itself and preparing for another day of work, your stomach is simply asking for the kind of nourishment that allows the rest of your digestive system to do what it was designed to do. It's easy to think of the stomach as a simple storage pouch that holds food until digestion begins, but in reality, the stomach is just one part of an intricate digestive network that influences nearly every system in the body. The choices you make each morning don't stop affecting you after breakfast. They can shape digestion, energy, appetite, and even long-term health through habits repeated day after day. That's why building a thoughtful morning routine isn't about chasing perfection. It's about creating conditions that allow your body's natural systems to work efficiently. One of the simplest and most effective habits is giving yourself a few moments before rushing into the day. Stress begins affecting digestion almost immediately. When you're anxious or hurried, your body shifts toward a fight-or-flight state controlled by the sympathetic nervous system. In this mode, digestion becomes less of a priority because the body is preparing to respond to perceived challenges. Blood flow is redirected toward muscles, and digestive processes may slow. Taking even a few calm minutes to wake up, hydrate, and eat without feeling rushed can help support the body's natural rest and digest response, allowing digestion to proceed more comfortably. Eating mindfully also plays a surprisingly important role. Digestion doesn't begin when food reaches the stomach. It begins with your senses. Seeing food, smelling it, and chewing thoroughly all stimulate the release of saliva and digestive enzymes while preparing the stomach for incoming food. Eating too quickly may lead to swallowing more air, placing greater demands on the stomach, and making it harder for the brain to recognize fullness signals. Slowing down allows this coordinated communication between the brain and digestive tract to function as intended. Consistency is another overlooked factor. The human body operates according to circadian rhythms, internal biological clocks that influence sleep, hormone release, digestion, and metabolism. Eating at relatively consistent times each day may help synchronize these rhythms, although occasional variations are perfectly normal. Regular meal patterns provide predictable signals to the digestive system, allowing hormones and digestive secretions to respond more efficiently over time. Physical movement can also complement a healthy morning routine. Gentle activities such as walking, stretching, or light exercise encourage circulation and support normal digestive function without placing excessive stress on the body. Exercise contributes to overall metabolic health and may positively influence the diversity of the gut microbiome when combined with a balanced diet. The goal isn't to perform an intense workout immediately after waking unless it fits your individual routine, but rather to recognize that movement and digestion work together as parts of a healthy lifestyle. Over time, these daily habits extend their influence beyond the stomach itself. The digestive system plays a central role in absorbing vitamins, minerals, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates that every organ depends upon. A healthy gut microbiome helps produce beneficial compounds, supports the immune system, and communicates with the brain through nerves, hormones, and chemical messengers. Scientists continue discovering new connections between gut health and areas such as metabolism, immune regulation, and mental well-being. Although many headlines exaggerate these findings, the evidence increasingly supports the idea that caring for your digestive system contributes to overall health. At the same time, it's important to avoid turning healthy habits into rigid rules. There will always be mornings when schedules change, travel interrupts routines, or breakfast simply isn't possible at the usual time. A single rushed morning or an occasional less than perfect meal doesn't undo months or years of healthy choices. Long-term health is built through patterns, not isolated moments. Flexibility is part of sustainability. In the end, the first thing your stomach receives each morning is only one piece of a much larger picture. Hydration, balanced nutrition, adequate sleep, regular physical activity, stress management, and consistent eating habits all work together to support digestive health. Your stomach has already spent the night repairing itself, protecting its lining, and preparing for another day of work. By beginning each morning with simple, evidence-based habits instead of quick fixes or popular myths, you give your entire digestive system, and ultimately your whole body, the best opportunity to function the way it was designed to.